Hello, and it is I, Bob74H, back with another video today, and today I'll be discussing oversaturation of versus battles in versus forums and versus media, like versus battles wiki, uh, comic vine, Naruto forums, things like that. So, I have this issue with it because you'll notice if you go on any of these threads, it's the same, 20 to 30 characters just winked, overdone, and generally just not really unique. Like, you go on any fucking forum and it will be the same 50 threads about the same topic. Which is why Comic Vine says we have no dupe threads, no duplicate threads, because it's annoying when you have 50 of the same topic, and it just reduces the thread to, reduces the forum, rather, to this particular debate. And that's kind of the issue I see. So, you just search up any Neji versus Sasuke fight, and you'll notice there's like 20 variations. And you have to think that that's just going off of the normal spelling, like their first names. If you go Uchiha Sasuke and Hyuga Neji, you get more results. Because sometimes people go by characters by their last name because it's Japanese, so they have a tendency or commonality to refer to people by their first name if they're not popularly acquainted or known to each other. Anyways, that's going into Japanese kind of culture and standards. But the purpose of this video is to address the oversaturation of different topics in versus media. So you'll notice, like, Broly versus Jiren, that's another infamous one. There'll be 20 topics on 20 like threads on the same topic. And mind you, with no variation either. It's just the same topic over and over again. And that's kind of my issue with versus battles. And this is kind of like the result of like this, like, esteemed or emboiled hatred of the anime. And yes, I'm bringing it right back to there. So the issue with hating the anime is that when you do that, or you hate things that aren't the manga, that reduces the scope of conversation. It reduces the scope of discussion to a limited amount of information, which is bad for two reasons. When you're on a forum or public discussion board, you kind of need things to talk about in order for things to stay active, in order for your site to function. But when you limit discussion to such a minuscule, idea, minuscule, scope, you don't have a discussion base. Rather, you have a very small group of information that you can use and talk about, which would be okay if there's not other information, but since there's more information, that's an issue, because you're purposely reducing the effectiveness and lifespan of your forum. Like, if you have everything allowed, and you're just like, you can talk about whatever, then it's more reasonable, because you're like, okay, now you have more things to discuss, and it will give more lifetime to your forum, as there's more, there's more conversations to be had, right? So if you just talk about Naruto versus Sasuke, Neji versus Sasuke, Yamato versus someone else in fucking Naruto, you get the same 8 discussions. But if you talk about other characters aside from, the manga characters, then you have more things to discuss. But people don't want more things to discuss. They want to stick to their, the manga that they like. So that kind of brings up an issue where it's just the same 8 discussions. That's kind of my issue with the versus community. It's just the same topics done over and over again. It's really annoying too, because you go in a thread and you're like, well, I've said my opinion on this thread 80 times, and you give it the 80th time, and they're like, well, why do you think that? And you're like, well, I gave my opinion on a prior thread. I don't want to have to explain every single detail over and over again when there's no point. Like, do you know how many fucking Bolos versus Garo threads have been done? It's ridiculous. And to say, well, maybe it's fine to have that many threads. It's like, yes, but expecting people to conversate consistently on the same topics over and over again is lunacy. People are eventually gonna get bored with it, and that's why forums like these die. They want other things to talk about. It's kind of why the anime community is kind of dying as well, because you have these people who kind of just limit discussion to a certain amount of things, and that kind of just lets shows die beyond their lifespan. So let's say Dragon Ball gets like a sequel anime. Nobody will talk about it because it's an anime. So that's the issue with fans. You can have like a series that's still living, but they won't talk about it because it's not to their standards and not to their liking. But yeah, it's just kind of ridiculous, as I've explained. And you know what? And there's an oversaturation of these same battles with people, and they don't even change the standards of these threads. Sometimes they'll have like part 2 Sasuke versus part 2 Neji, as if anything beyond the tuning exams is fair. And people will try to say it is because apparently he blocked like the Ten Tails, which is a outlier for one, and for two, it's not applicable or valid due to that, because as we know, there is a consistent standard in Neji not being on that level. Like, for example, he got bodied by Kisame, and he also got bodied by the spider dude, Kimaru. He got bodied by him. So to say that he's this ultra level threat is ridiculous, when even in the tuning exams, Neji's like, yeah, I can't beat this Sasuke. Like, he was like shitting himself looking at the tuning exams curse mark 1 Sasuke. Like, not even curse mark 2, just the first curse mark form. So, yeah, anything beyond tuning exams is a stomp. But people just want to make, threads about the same topic over again. So, it is what it is, I guess. Anyways, this is Bob74H signing off. If you like my ideas and or rants on things, please feel free to subscribe and or give your opinions in the comment section below. Thank you.